want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
Was there one moment on set that you especially remember now that like you maybe a favorite moment or a day that you'll always remember from like a gag or a prank or just something special?
For me, it was the whole party scene.
Sure, yeah,
because
yeah.
it was the beginning of the film, for starters.
Yeah.
And it was literally like all of us were catching up. We're like, hey, how you been? You know, because it was the beginning of the shoot.
Yeah.
When we were in the Sokovian church set shooting the sort of climactic battle, there was some footage we put down even before we had any robots in it, where I felt like I just made a comic book. I got pretty giddy on that day.
One is walking on the set of Avengers Tower for the first time, and seeing how massive it was and how special it was, because the first movie took place on the helicarrier, with a lot of the characters sitting around talking on the helicarrier. In this movie, it's Avengers Tower. And our production designer, Charlie Wood, I thought knocked it out of the park. And I didn't know a set could be that big in the soundstage. So that was very exciting, and to walk around and just keep going and going. And the other one really was being in on the Sokovia set in Hendon, outside of London, which was the biggest outdoor set we've ever had too. And walking through it, and really, for the first time in any of our movies, feeling like it was all real.
In the first scene that Paul and I shot together, which was the scene at the end of the film, it was at the end of a long shooting day for me, and we went out and the sun was going down, and we went into a parking lot and we shot that scene together. And it just, for me, it was the end of the film for Ultron, and yet for me, it sort of embodied really what I liked most about playing the character, was what I got to be able to play with him in that scene. I just loved it. It was really great. And after the scene was over, we were friends.
Yeah.
We met for the first time.
It's true.
Then. And the scene finished, and we were friends.
We were friends. It was a pretty strange circumstance. You're purple, your mate's dressed in a fractal suit with cameras hanging off his head, and all of it falls away because, it's a lot of having to believe in things that are pretty fantastical. But you look into a really good actor's eyes, and suddenly all of it falls away, and you're left with the truth of the relationship, and it was a really strong scene to play out.
There's always a moment where the Avengers assemble, and the first one it was kind of that moment where we're all standing there back to back, ready for anything. And this one was literally sitting on that couch in Tony Stark's apartment, just kind of like shooting the shit, having a beer and hanging out and talking. We were improvising, and I was just like, this is kind of what it's all about, and it's these people, and it's the ease that we have with each other, and the way we can enjoy each other, and that translates into everything. But I was kind of like, this is as good as it gets.
I really loved shooting the final fight sequence where we kind of took over this old abandoned buildings and that were ready to be demolished, and we practically did exactly that, demolished it for them, and blew everything up and messed around with all the stunt guys, and they, and you got parkour guys and gymnasts, and some of the Captain America doubles like would be doing outrageous things, but they were in these great big suits and they're having to take off. And you're like, how do you? And the weight of the suit, and they have to like do triple somersaults sort of things. You're like, what the heck, man?
My favorite was the other time we were all together when we were doing the dialogue bit, when the Vision's kind of like talking to us about when he first was born, and we had the worst fit of the giggles that day, so we would all...
Ruffalo would make me laugh the most.
We were laughing so hard.
Because Ruffalo would have like
Paul literally stopped looking at me because he'd go... So That was my favorite.
At lunch,
Between
they would play like
our break 5 years.
Yeah, they would play like wiffle ball right in between all the trailers.
Yeah.
And that was really
Wiffle
fun
ball.
to watch.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do!
You had to ask.